Hi, sister. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Hey. Y'all, this is my first time using these AirPods, whatever you call these. Just let me know if you can hear me, because I have no idea. I feel, okay, thank you, sister. JC Pedraza, LSJP is in the house. My Jess. Hey, Denise. How you doing, y'all? It's Tuesday. I know I've been talking about this for a minute, haven't I? Ad nauseum. My epoch. Hey, best friend is in the building. I'm gonna add you in a minute, Rashan. I'm gonna do a little housekeeping stuff before I do that. How do I do that? How do I know when to add you? Where does that happen? I think down at the bottom. I believe you'll ask me to join. Is that right, Rashan? And then I'll say yes. What's up, Calvin Shelton? Hello. My classmates from high school, folks on here from 30 years ago. It's crazy. How you doing? How's everybody doing? I go to your name. Thank you, Rashan. Rashan is the queen of lives. So I am taking my cues from her. I'll tell y'all how she has helped me in a bit. She has been like a mentor, a peer mentor for me. The Peach of Peachtree is here. That's, should I say your real name? I don't know. You said it's not letting me request you. So what does that mean, Rashan? I should probably, oh, I see what happened. Let's see. A request, best friend. I guess it says it's waiting for Rashan Ali. Oh, hey, Ebony. Ebony said I can say her real name. Rashan, it says you declined. Let's try it again. We have a few minutes to get started anyway. I was going to do a few moments.
I thought you.
Oh, there she is. Hey, it's fine.
I thought you were gonna do your housekeeping rules first.
I was. I just didn't know if it. I didn't know what was gonna happen if I declined you or not. So you can just be on here while I do that.
Okay.
Yeah, Niv is here. We're just gonna wait a few moments, let people get in the room. Do you have your beer with you, best friend?
Of course.
So let's talk about that real fast.
And I've got my glass.
Yes, you got your glass. You know, before we get into the beer, let me just back up and just first of all thank everybody for being here on time. I appreciate it. I had a little bit of nerves with setting this up because I've never done a live before. It's my first time doing this. I've done video and stuff, and I just started doing that recently myself. Am I too close? I got to get close.
No,
I can't see these names if I'm as far back as you are.
That's why I lean up.
I know. I've seen you lean up. I've seen you back here talking and be like, hey, Peach, right. What's up? What's happening? I've seen
you. The table's in front. You know, the little table. Yes. And so my ring lights are right here. I really need to probably move.
It's a whole studio setup.
Yeah.
It's a whole studio setup. My sister's calling me big head. My head is actually not that big, and that has been proven since I cut my hair very, very low. It's bigger than hers, but Mickey has a diminutive head.
So. Diminutive?
Yes. SAT. Prep. Word. My niece is here. Hey, Autumn. Hey, babe. Mickey says 100. So, hey, how is this for you being on the other side of the table, best friend?
With you, it's very different.
I know. I know. You've interviewed me twice for your podcast, for Cool Soror podcast.
Yep.
I've been on TV with you on Sister Circle.
Yep.
Down to the circle. 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times, yes.
Yeah. And always with you grilling me. So this should be interesting. Right. So I just wanted to first just give a little backstory for people. I know a lot of folks who are here. I recognize a lot of these names. They're people who have been kind of riding with me since, I don't know, years ago since I first started doing this. So this will be a review for y'all. But for the new people here, my name is Jen Price. I'm owner and operator of the Atlanta Beer Boutique. And Atlanta Beer Boutique started years ago, a decade ago, really, as a beer blog with me just exploring beer, loving beer.
I started out doing a 30 beers in 30 days challenge. This was when Instagram was like brand new, and was posting stuff to Instagram, and just created a hobby for myself out of something that I really liked a lot, and decided, you know what if I did something a little more with beer, and what would that look like? So I started hosting classes. I started doing workshops, and just inviting people to sort of my perspective on beer. And at that time, I was doing pairings a lot, doing beer and food together, which was new then, still new now. No one's really doing this kind of stuff. But I found out that the aspect of beer that I like the most is the communal part. So it was always fun for me to share with people. As you know, when you come to my house, it's like an impromptu beer tasting anyway, like no matter what, no matter who's here. So I started out doing that, and eventually moved into working into finding an actual location, a brick and mortar shop, as you know. And I've been working on that for a few years. I wrote a book in the meantime, The Chick's Guide to Beer, and got, to the point where I found a location that I really liked, and signed a lease on that location that I really liked, and started building it out. I bought furniture, I bought fixtures, I bought coolers, because you have to, in order to stay on schedule, if you have a schedule, and I'm a planner, you know how I am, I had a schedule for when I wanted things to happen. And so I had timelines and milestones to meet. So I was doing all the stuff I needed to do to open my boutique. And then went through all of the licensing that I needed to go through, except for the liquor licensing, because that's the last piece. For those of y'all who've ever opened any kind of business that needed a liquor license, you have to have all of your ducks in a row before you go to Atlanta Police Department asking for a liquor license. That means you have to have all of your state inspections done, county inspections, health department, everything. So I went through all of that, and was ready for my liquor license. Went to Atlanta Police Department, put in my application, and I got on the schedule for April to go before the License and Review Board. That's the group that kind of oversees and says yes or no to liquor licenses. My date was April 21st. I'll never forget it. That was my scheduled appearance. And then COVID had hit. It hit hard too. And City Hall shut down. Lots of places shut down. And then I was just waiting. It was like a delay. And I just kept having to recheck in with myself to see, if I was going to be able to sustain waiting. I think I said this to you once, like, to be a business owner, and you have to have, like, an entrepreneur, especially as a startup, you have to have enough money to just like wait if you have to. And I think I told my followers this at that same time, the SBA, so I have a loan through the Small Business Association, and they fund loans through lots of different banks. So the SBA is really the money bag in my situation. They restricted access to my working capital when COVID happened, because I was considered a high risk. As far as they're concerned, they're like, we don't know what you're going to do. We don't know if you're going to make it. We have money tied up in your business. We have other businesses who are farther along than you. And if something happens and they need, it wasn't the bank. It was literally the Small Business Association, whose mission is to help small businesses get started. So they restricted my working capital, which I have yet to have access to. And so I had to contemplate a lot of things, like, can I wait? Do I want to tap into all of my little bitty savings that I have left? On top of that, COVID changed a lot of rules about gathering. My space was considered a bar, and, bars were one of the very last places to be able to open back up. And even now it's super restricted. Didn't have any outdoor seating, blah, blah, blah. It just seemed like one thing after another. And you and I know a lot of people are followers of the law of attraction, and there's a lot of talk in that school of thought about going with the flow, and about following the path of least resistance. And it just seemed like one thing after another. And it was just, on top of that, y'all, and I know a lot of y'all know this, my father passed away in January. It was just like literally dominoes, and everything was saying don't. So I stepped away. My landlord was so super nice. It let me out of my lease. And here I am today, talking to other people who have had some kind of impact, either because of COVID or maybe another personal tragedy or whatever, and who are really just trying to figure out how to start things over. So I appreciate you being here as my first guest. It just happened to be that way that you were my first guest, because the dates worked out and you picked the first date. So I'm happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. So
I'm so happy to be here.
yeah, this is Beer, Biz, and BS. And by the way, Rashan named the show, right? Because she's a creative genius, as you all probably know if you know her. She can come up with all kind of stuff. But Beer, Biz, and BS is the name of the show, and we'll be here for 6 weeks talking to 6 different folks. So I see Tracy Nicole here. Hey, Tracy.
Yes.
So let's start with the beer, shall we?
Shall we? We shall.
So the beer for this episode is La Fria. It is a Caribbean lager. All right. So cool story about this beer. This is brewed as a collaboration between Second Self Beer Company, who y'all probably have heard of, and a pop-up restaurant, which now has a location called My Abuela's Food. Now, you may be familiar with the Dames and Dregs Beer Festival. That is the only beer festival in Atlanta that is dedicated to ladies. And one of the founders is Luis Martinez, and he is My Abuela's Food. He is the collaborator, the brewer of this beer. So we're going to crack this one open. We both have ABB logo glasses, but just as a note, because I'm geeky, this is the proper glass. This would be the proper glass for this kind of beer. So it's a Caribbean lager. So it means it's going to be light and crisp and refreshing. It's going to be palate cleansing. I love the way a fresh can of beer sounds when it opens.
That thing sounds so good.
That pop sounds good. Thing sounds so good. So we're pouring this one up. It's going to be light straw color. Look at that. So beautiful. Nice hue. Hue. And the aroma is actually smells kind of, what do you get? I get some fruit on there, actually, which is interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
Hold on.
But
your
what you get?
Yeah.
Olfactory.
Good.
My olfactory senses are
I learned that one in the 6th grade.
Yep. CJ is here from Sydney, Australia. Hey, Crystal Jewel.
Hey, Crystal Jewel. That's good.
That is actually really good. It actually does. So that's the cool thing about Caribbean lagers. It's the same thing as sort of a light lager. We don't name any big brands, but if you're interested in sort of a light beer that's going to be crushable, you can drink a few of them out by the pool or on the beach. You can eat a lot of things with this. I would do this
in the morning after a long night.
It's a very good hair of the dog kind of beer. It's low alcohol too. It's like 4%. So it's just to take the edge off in the morning. We do that sometimes. But I would do it with like tostones or a curry. A curry dish would be good with this. You said like salad would be good with it. Fish. If you like something super light, you're gonna like this one. Right. And you get it at Second Self. I think that is the best way to go get it. Go directly to the brewery and get it.
Yeah, I see. I saw Michelle's here. This would be something that she would do a great salad dressing with this.
Absolutely. It would be a fantastic vinaigrette.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if it has Caribbean ingredients, Black Beer Chick was asking, but we can find out from Luis. He's Puerto Rican, and some of the proceeds will go back to Puerto Rico, and it will have distribution in Puerto Rico, which is really, really cool, which is very new. And you don't get a whole lot of American craft beers in the Caribbean. So I love that. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope y'all go find it and try it out. So what was the first beer you remember having, Rashan? First, well, let's not say first beer because that was probably some garbage. What was the first good beer you remember having?
Oh, man, Jenny, I was not prepared for that. First good beer. Oh, man.
That you remember. All right. Just had Tony talking about some Puerto Rico and put some sunglasses on because they down there homeschooling their kids in Puerto Rico. They've taken it to another level. The
Oh,
beer
that's a good
name
one.
one more time is La Fria.
La Fria.
Someone
Probably
told me to
something that
pin the name. I don't know how to do that yet.
yeah, we'll get to it. Somebody put La Fria in the comments. I don't know, Jenny. I
Second
think it
time.
was. I think it's something that you probably introduced me to.
Probably
Probably
so.
something by. Probably something by. Probably something by Monday night. That I remember. Like,
It
oh,
probably
okay,
was.
yeah,
It's been
because
a while back since we've been
yeah,
drinking craft beer.
right,
Yeah,
right.
it's been a
Yeah,
while.
we're not gonna tell
Been a
everybody
while. And
about
you've been
that.
doing it ever since.
Right, we're not gonna tell everybody about the time we was 14. No. Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Wait. Say what now? When we were drinking Old English? Was it
Oh,
Old
and
English?
St. Ives.
Or
And
St.
St.
Ives?
Ives
Or Ice?
too.
It was
Yeah.
probably Ice House.
Ice
It was
House.
probably, yeah, it was trash.
Yeah.
This was
Honey
the
Brown in
90s.
college.
So we go way back. I know y'all know this, but we go way back to 1989. We've been best friends for 31 years.
Yeah.
Long time. Long time.
Long
So we've done a
time.
lot of things together. A lot of garbage and a lot of good. A lot
A
of
lot of
garbage and a
good.
lot of good.
A lot of good.
biz and a lot of BS.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
for people who don't know you, Rashan, give your 90-second resume. Tell us from
wow.
FAMU, as I see you representing the Rattlers with your sweatshirt, from
Yes.
FAMU till 6 months
Yes.
ago. FAMU to March, before the
That's right.
pandemic. That's right. The Orange and Green.
That's
Tell
right.
us.
This Rattler.
Yeah,
Sorry.
what it say?
This
I
Rattler
can't see it. What
supports
is it?
Biden
This
Harris
Rattler does what?
2020. This Rattler supports Biden Harris
Ah,
2020.
very cool.
Yeah, I'm
Very cool. I
representing
like
tonight
that.
ahead
Where
of
you got that
the
from?
yeah, I got you. Our sister, my line sister Vicky can definitely hook you up with that. We got a whole group together for
Oh,
our
yeah, she
line.
told me about it. She
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
She sure did. She told us
Wow.
about it. So yeah, 90-second resume. Let's get into it. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, Decatur, Georgia. Born in Atlanta, raised in Decatur. I'm one of those people that can actually claim both. I actually was born at Crawford Long Hospital. Raised in Decatur, Georgia, I-20, baby, Columbia Drive, East Side all day. Went to, obviously, Southwest DeKalb High School and went to Florida A&M on a presidential and swimming scholarship. And so I got my broadcast journalism degree, graduated magna cum laude in 1997, and kind of started my career. I worked at LaFace Records. I was Left Eye's personal assistant before she passed away. I worked at Fox Sports South on a show called Countdown to Signing Day. Got the opportunity to audition for the Ryan Cameron Morning Show on Hot 107.9. And that really just helped my career in many ways. I always say God used him as a vessel to really boost my professional career in 2002. And ever since then, I've kind of just been navigating these radio and television waters. 107.9, V103, 94.5. I filled in for him on 107.5 when he just went through his, pretty drastic heart issues. Praise God, he's doing very well. But CNN, Headline News, CBS Sports Network, awesome. NBA TV, CW, Sister Circle, NBA TV. I've done a whole lot. I'm the founder of Sporty Girls Incorporated. I have my podcast, Cool Store Podcast, and I'm an author. Oh, and a mom and a wife. So
and all that.
Yeah,
all
those
of that.
two. All of that. Yeah. So that's my 90-second resume.
To end it with. I love it. And so before the pandemic, you were.
I was working
like right in March.
Man, Sister Circle. I had just gotten back from Carnival. Yeah, just gotten back from Carnival.
That's right.
Which was absolutely fantastic. One of the best experiences I've ever had. Had a chance to go with one of my sisters in love, Stacy, and then we came back 2 weeks later. I went on my 25th anniversary line trip. Some of my line sisters are here representing BA all day, and then it was literally like a halt. And we started doing these lives. We're doing lives from home, and it was just like great. I had Mondays. We were interviewing people, and they were like, "Yeah, we have an emergency meeting." And when I saw the head of HR was copied on the emergency meeting notice, I was like, "Oh, it's over. The show over." And it was just like that. Ixnay.
Ixnay on the O'Shea.
Yeah.
So the transition, I know, so we've talked about dreaming for a long time. I know that TV was like, that was the next thing for you. You were just so interested and you manifested it. You created that for yourself. And,
Yeah.
and so, tell me about like the transition though, from that sort of regularity of getting up in the morning and, you know, being with your sisters on Sister Circle and having that routine to now. Like, how do you transition from something, such a dramatic change?
Well, as
I feel
Bailey,
like we were
my
loud.
older, oh, it sounds good. Oh, you mean your earrings?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. As Bailey, our older daughter, would say when we told her that, the show was over, it got canceled. She was like, "Oh, you've been through this before. You done been fired before. You good." And it was just one of those things.
I
Because
thought
I
the same
had
thing.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had been. I mean, Hot 107.9, I got replaced. We got replaced by Ricky Smiley, who's been doing very well ever since. Jump over to Streets
Mm-hmm.
94.5, got replaced by The Breakfast Club. When Ryan and I worked together at V103 for that year, we were in such different places that where
Mm-hmm.
we were prior, it was just the dynamic had changed. Because I had led my own
Mm-hmm.
morning show at Hot 107.9, and then once I got back with him, I had
Yep.
gone back into that co-host role or the sidekick role that I had not been
Mm-hmm.
used to, and it did not work out. But
Yeah.
I've said this
Yeah.
publicly. I've said it. He knows it, and it's all love. Like everybody knows the love that he and I share. But it was just
Mm-hmm.
different. It was just different. And so yeah, so I'm used to. I'm used to it happening. And then if you're in entertainment, you just
Yeah.
yeah, it's ebbs and flows. You high one day, literally, and then you're like, thank you for your time. We wish you well in your future endeavors. I've gotten that several times. It's not that I'm
Yeah.
used to it, but
One
I'm
time,
never
I remember
surprised.
one of those times you called me at
Hmm.
work. It was a Friday. They tend to do it on Fridays in radio, so
Yes,
you don't
they do.
go ape shit in the place.
Right.
You called me this time. When you called me, you were laughing.
Yeah.
You were like, "Hey, dog, you ain't gonna believe this shit, man." You were like, "Man, I got fired, man." I was like, "Wait, wait," and we laughed. At
Yeah.
this particular one, I don't remember which one that was, but we laughed.
Yeah.
It
It was
was
94.5.
a very
Mm-hmm.
Very Rashan moment. And
Yeah.
but you've been flowing and growing ever since. And to use your own words, you know what I'm saying? So how do you stay in the flow? Because
Man.
something like that could really like break you. And it was real easy to, especially like now during this pandemic, it would have been very easy for you to have like gone into hiding,
Mm-hmm.
isolation, like we all have been able to do, but to have not, you've been busy. So how do you
Yeah.
like stay in that flow, in that space of still creating, still wanting to create?
Yeah, it's an everyday walk, Jenny. Like some days, I mean, if people
Mm-hmm.
who are here who follow me, you'll see maybe my sixth post ago. Some days you got it, and some days you just don't, and you literally
Mm-hmm.
just have to continue to walk, put one foot in front of the other, and sometimes it's not easy because you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
man, why I be doing all this good for everybody, man? When am I got to be on?
Not just regular on, but
Right.
on.
Like on.
I
But
know.
it's
I know.
like if I had what I know is coming, like now, like I'm gonna be one of those people that is walking like the Oscar red carpet at like 50, like I knew she was always gonna do something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be one of
Yep.
those people
Yep.
that
Yep. Yep.
gets it
Yep.
quote unquote later than a lot of people because it's a lot
Yeah.
of I think that this journey is so many people witnessing my journey because I always say this, it's other people watching how you move and they see how you move and
Yep.
they in turn will act accordingly in their own situation. So I know that my life is an example for other people.
Yeah.
So I can't get it too fast. I can't get what I'm trying, get what I'm getting too fast, but I'm really enjoying the journey because I feel like I've grown exponentially. I used to be
Right.
like, oh yeah, I used to cry at any moment. Like, when is it go? But now I'm just like, I'm literally flowing and growing. Like, whatever is to be will be. Let it grow, let it go, and let it grow.
You've been an example for me, and so I started doing these morning walks in the morning as a way to just kind of meditate and to get out of my own head and to be more active during COVID because we ain't been going nowhere. But my morning walks turned into like prayer and meditation walks. And it was one of those mornings where I was just feeling, I don't know, some mornings I was just sad, woke up, I don't know, just thinking of, woe is me. Oh my gosh, my business, blah, 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 just being very, just in my head and in my feelings about things. And I remember thinking, I was like, I have a great example in my best friend of someone who has repeatedly, like every time, come back after what some may call a fall, after falling, and come back stronger and with more poise and with dignity and without bitterness. And you tend to do it with so much grace. And it is such a good example to so many people. Like Bailey was like, oh, you did this before. Like even Bailey is just like, oh, my mommy can do it again. You know what I mean? And that example to your girls, to your people, to me, to all of us, it is so necessary. And especially if you do something that's a falling down in public. Like I've fallen several times, of course, in different aspects of my life, but not until being so transparent with Atlanta Beer Boutique and my process of opening, doing my Friday videos, taking y'all along with me to see me looking at spaces and talking to vendors. It wasn't a public thing. And so I took from your example as a way to fall in public and get my butt right back up and figure out something next. And so thank you from all of us for being, that example. It's so funny how like your friends can also be your mentors. So I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it. And I thank you for your example. It's shining.
Listen, we thank you. And, I always tell you that you are such a pure example for me and just how you handle your business and how you set things up and how organized you are. Like it's my turn for you to come and help me get my stuff together because I'm the creative and I just kind of randomly do things. But you've been that as well. I mean, you're a shining example. I always tell you this, and I know that, you're super humble and, but like you got people that really, really ride for you and really want to see you like win on a major level. That's why like the build up to this first episode, the build up of you launching this live series, like people were so excited because dog, they mess with you like the long way. You know what I'm saying? Like in a real, like a real, you've been so good to people. And then you the cool chick. Like everybody want to be around. I know that's a whole bunch of people really want to call you their best friend. It's cool though. I know they really want to say it. They be saying it in their head, but they know they can't say it out loud. You know what I'm saying?
In their head. Not for real. Not in your presence.
I know exactly, but presence. It's all good. It's all good and it's all love. Yeah.
Well, we had that sort of symbiotic relationship because before I started this, I told y'all before we kind of got started that Rashan came up with the name for this show, but I actually like went to Rashan for some mentoring sessions before I launched. I've been thinking about doing like a podcast kind of thing, and I never really knew what it would look like. I never really knew kind of what I wanted to focus on. And so, but once I had an idea of kind of what it may look like, Rashan and I set up Friday meetings for a couple of Fridays in a row. I think it might have been 3 or 4 Fridays with homework in between. And Koya was here for one of them, our homegirl Koya, who's also a business owner, Atlanta Outdoor Management. Was here brainstorming with us one time. And just to have sort of someone who's done this before, because you have a very successful podcast. Cool Soar is very successful. And I was like, well, shoot, I have all these resources around me. And that's one of the big takeaways, I think, for this pandemic is that we have a lot of the resources right in front of us. We may not look at them in that way, but there are so many tools in front of us, people in front of us who can help us and who can elevate us and who can give us advice. And so I'm such a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I mean, Jenny,
huge fan.
Okay. Yeah.
It paused. We said I'm on 20% of my battery.
Uh-oh. You'll be all right for 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
it's funny because Tracy Nicole is
I'm going to
here.
adjust this and plug it in a minute.
Yeah, do that because I know how you are. You anal.
I'm
Go
listening.
ahead.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Yep,
No,
keep
I'm
talking
saying
while I adjust
Tracy,
this and put the charger in here.
my line sister and our good friend Tracy is here.
Yes.
She and we collaborated on a cool sword dress, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get us to collaborate for so long, but like we have so many smart people around us to that will help us become better business people as well. Like our crew, like we small and we do stuff.
Yeah, we
and
work.
It's great. Yeah,
We work.
we work.
We work.
Yeah.
I can't plug this thing in. I can't plug it
It's
in.
fine.
We just gonna keep talking. They said I got 20%. If it just dies, guys,
I don't think it's gonna
dead.
die.
But we
I
got
don't
some time.
I
I think
need
it'll
you
be
to put
okay.
that energy out
Let
there.
me
I think you'll
straighten
be
this
fine.
back up.
Okay.
I didn't realize my phone wasn't fully charged until 5 minutes before the show. So something I'll write down on my notes for next time is to have a fully charged phone.
I charge
what?
I charge my AirPods and everything. Yeah, go ahead.
I meant to ask you for a list of things to do before the show, but I forgot. So.
All right. It's okay.
Anywho, as my mom would say, it's okay to not be okay. And I wanted to say that because that was one of the quotes that you said. So I asked you, what is the most important thing you would like to share with the audience? And it was that simple sentence. It's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
That sounds like something that you've had to process and accept.
Yeah. I mean, again,
tell us about that. Dig into that a little deeper.
We put so much pressure on ourselves, especially during just in general, especially as Black women. But and during this pandemic, because of social media, you log on and you see everybody is live, and you're like, especially me as a former talk show host and a podcast person, and this personality that I am, I'm like, I need to be on live. I ain't doing nothing. What am I doing with my life? Whatever you do. And then some days I do have those days like, why you ain't call that girl back? You need to set up the podcast. Like, but then I'm just like, it's cool. Like, guess what's not gonna happen? Ain't nobody gonna die if I don't return the text or return the email to set up the show. Like, I just feel like we have to extend ourselves some grace because it's a lot going on. And I've said this on my, just on a general live and in other interviews. I had to talk to my therapist. I do teletherapy, Dr. Joy Beckwith. And I was trying to be so positive about everything that I wasn't even allowing or recognizing that some things were going on in the world. She said, it's not an either or, it's an and. I am positive. And so I had to recognize that sometimes you can go all the way to the left where you're so super positive that nothing, and then you come crashing down, and then you're like, the next thing you know, you're in a corner like crying crazy with all of this anxiety. I literally have anxiety, and anxiety, like you were saying the other day when we were at your house, it's a physical thing. Like I can feel it. I have to talk myself out of the anxiety. Every time that I feel it, like, it's okay. You're okay. If you don't return that phone call, if you don't if you don't, like, you have children you're raising, you're trying to be a lover, you're trying to be a wife, you're trying to do all these things, like, extend yourself some grace. It's okay to not be okay. If you want to do Netflix and chill for the whole damn week, then do it. Then do it. And that's okay too, man. Stop putting all this unrelenting standards. When my second session in therapy, there it is. My second session in therapy, my therapist said, because she gave me these, assessments, and I like all of these things that I have. I put myself on the pedestal. I've always put myself on the pedestal. I don't want to be wrong. I want to be perfect. I want everything to be right. I want everybody to like me. All these. She was like, sis, this is called unrelenting standards. These are standards that we place on ourselves that we just cannot continue to, we can't continue to stay at that level. It's unhealthy. So I'm saying all that to say it is okay.
It's unsustainable. Unhealthy.
It's unhealthy. Perfectionism is unhealthy. We learned that when we read Dr. Brene Brown's book. There's no such thing as being perfect. There's no such thing. Or trying to, there's no such thing. So what I'm saying to everybody that is on this live, 60 people, 65, if you want to drink 5 beers one day after you get off work, I mean, that may be excessive or not, because depending on who you hang with. Because if you hang with us,
or during work, because we working from home, and if you're working from home,
there's that.
Hey, it may be 5 during the day. It's all good.
It may be 5 during the day, but again, just extend yourself some grace, man. Just extend yourself. This is a whole lot. We've never experienced this in our entire lives. And then Black folks have PTSD. We've been dealing with stuff our whole life, and now we get to sit down, be in our homes, and watch this stuff happen to our brothers and sisters. And now we're like, now we have to face it, like really face it. And the world is facing it with us. And then we got to still walk out the door and be a strong Black woman. The hell? It's a lot.
It's a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. You mentioned Dr. Brene Brown. Funny, because like we always be on the same wavelength, guys. Like I'm not making this stuff up. Like Rashan, I'll be thinking about her and she'll text me, or random things like this happens to us all the time. But you mentioned Brene Brown, and I have a quote here that I wanted to read from her, which is from her new book called Rising Strong, which I've been reading. It's about, so she uses, she selects her words carefully. So she very rarely uses the word fail in her book. She uses the word fall. And the quote says, if we are brave enough, often enough, we will fall. And, but then she says we can also rise strong. And she describes rising strong as a spiritual practice. And I thought that was so beautiful because, just backing up to the first part of the quote, if you're brave enough, often enough, you'll fall. That just means if you're willing to put your neck out there, it requires bravery and courage to step out and pursue a dream, whether it's radio, a beer boutique, being a top-notch educator like our friend Clueless 24, 1995, whatever your thing is, if you are brave enough, first of all, that is an act, that is an accomplishment, because you're brave enough to even step out there and do that. But if you're brave enough, often enough, which means if you do it repeatedly, if you're a serial ideas person, a serial entrepreneur, a serial successful person, then you will fall. And it is just a part of the equation, isn't it? It's a part of it.
It's part of it. You look at some of the quote unquote most successful people, like they've failed or fallen more times than they've quote unquote succeeded. But I've understood, like throughout this journey, I've understood. Now I've come to the understanding that success is not about having accomplished that big thing. Success to me is happiness and knowing how to continue to navigate that and press toward having it on a consistent basis. I just want, and I fight for it every day. And some days are better than others. And you can ask me to crazy. But I fight to be, Woo, shout it is stole. Okay. I'm stole. I'm from the east side.
He been know that. He been know that since FAMU though. He did.
Since FAMU. I'm throw. I mean, in a good way. If you from Atlanta, throw mean you throw. You just, you all over the place. I'm a Cancer, I'm emotional. But my focus, I try to focus on making sure that I'm happy and enjoying the journey and really trying to reach the highest version of who I am. And I think that chick is so dope. And I've reached her a couple of times, but sometimes you go back. And that's the journey. Like you be like, man, I need the vibration back. When's the vibration? And you got to work towards the vibration again. Like get it back. It's constant. And the thing about it is just trying to find that consistency of just being that dope chick. And it, and then social media, as strong as we are, even though we we don't let that get to us. Even if you're just scrolling by like, man, sis got it going on. And then that's still
Yep.
somewhat of a comparison. It's still somewhat of a, even though you
Mhm.
giving her love, you
It
think
is.
about, man, you know what I mean? You still like, dang, I ain't
What
smiling
more
like
can
that
I do?
today.
Yep.
Right. It's a real
Looking off
thing.
into the distance, I ain't that happy.
I ain't that happy. How can she be so happy and so pretty? You know what I mean?
And the teeth so
She's so
white.
white.
And look at her edges. They
Look at,
strong.
they strong.
Yeah. It's easy to go down that rabbit hole and just be
Oh
like,
man,
why
what?
me, Lord? Why
Right.
me? But Lord be like, man,
Right. You doing your thing,
you all
man.
right, sis? You good, sis?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah.
There's somebody looking at you thinking the same thing, knowing you
Absolutely.
crazy on the other side.
Crazy on the other side. We have to get out of that practice of comparing and just walk our own path and know
Yeah.
that, you know, the work that we're putting in will be rewarded on the other side. It will be.
Absolutely.
It
You know,
will
I've always just, you know, I practice kindness, I practice gratitude, I practice
Yeah.
all of those things. And I've been good to a lot of people. I've been good to hell, everybody. You know what I mean? And so I know that
You've
I will
been good
continue
to
to be
people
rewarded
who've been
because I
bad to
have been
you.
good.
You've been good to people who've been bad to
Oh
you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
not that you do it for the reward. It's just who you are to be good, because it just feels better.
Yeah.
It just feels
Yeah.
better to be good.
Yeah, those
I get
things,
it.
when you harbor those hard feelings, that really
Mm-hmm.
hardens your heart. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to live in a state where my heart is hardened.
Yeah.
You know, I love my daddy, and I know he ain't on this Instagram, but there's a
He
lot
ain't
of
gonna
people that
never
know my
see this.
daddy, and you know. But I believe that he would have a level of happiness that is, you know, completely insurmountable to any thought that he may have ever had by forgiving people. And he's 77, and I just don't
Mm.
want, you know, at when everything is over, for him to have not released certain things, because hardened hearts is not, it's not about forgiving the actual person. It's about letting your heart
Mm-hmm.
soften so that you can release
Yes.
the dis-ease, which in turn becomes disease. So, you know, it's very true. It's very true. A lot of us face
Yeah.
disease because of the dis-ease we've had with certain
Ooh.
things that we've done, or things that
Girl.
we've not let go of. And I, you know, I talk to him
Yes.
about it all the time. Fats, you're so right. You're so right. You're so right, Fats. And that's my dog. Everybody know I'm a daddy's girl. But once we become older, we see our family members and even our parents like, oh, they're real people. Like they've got their strengths, they've got their weaknesses. And,
Yes.
you know, I just want him to, you know, just release. And I think that's a good thing for anybody that's on this
Mm-hmm.
live today. You got to release that joint. You got to
Yeah.
release that stuff,
Yeah.
because there's so many people walking around. I can't stand her. Remember that time? Really? Like, really? You
Sis,
got
I
to
ain't
release
thinking
it.
about you no more. I ain't thinking about you
Right.
no more.
It's about like
Forgiveness
softening
is
your
for
heart.
yourself.
It's for yourself.
Yeah. It's not about the other person. I mean, the other person is out of the equation at this point, but it's for you.
Yep.
It's for you.
It's for you.
Forgiveness is
Yeah.
it's a gift for yourself.
It
It really
is.
is.
It
It
is.
really
It
is.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's already 6:44. That's crazy.
Sorry, you
I
got
have
another
a,
question?
you know, I'm about a schedule. I have a nice schedule up here on my wall that I'm looking at. 6:45 is when the Q&A is supposed to start. So I'm going to
Okay.
ask people, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the bottom and we'll read them. But while we wait for those to populate, one more question. I just want to switch over to a piece of advice that you've always given me and that you've talked about a while, which is creating your own content and owning your own content. You do that with your Kusora podcast, your music. What's your new thing called that you started on Monday?
Musical Monday. I'm
Musical
sorry,
Mondays.
musical menu. Pardon me. Yes,
Musical menu, which is on
Mhm.
Mondays, and she just like randomly started it because she randomly comes up with
Does
ideas
things.
and just does
Yes.
things. Me, on the
Yes.
other hand, I have like a 5-page plan about it, but either,
But it works though. You
do
got
what works
66
for
people,
you.
right? But we got to have a whole plan. We got
You
to
do.
have a plan. And I need
You do.
I need an assistant. I need help. It's fine. It's all good.
Anybody out there,
We're
Rashan
gonna
needs a
find the
new
right person.
assistant. She
I
does. She
do.
does.
Bad. Bad.
But I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think hosting a podcast has taught you? Because that was a new lane for you at one point. You know, you've done all the other forms of media. Podcasting was something new to you. What do you think you learned by doing that?
Consistency, and I still have to push through. Like, I still have to push through and do better with being more consistent with new episodes. Like, why am I not releasing new episodes every week like I was, prior to Sister Circle? And I've started to like equate the podcast with going live, when I actually can just do the podcast and not have to go live with the person. But then I'm like, well, what if they think that I don't want them on live? I'm like, sis, like, get out your head and just start like pushing forward. But it also taught me consistency. Like, you have to be consistent. People, when I was very consistent, my numbers were unbelievable. I was on track to start it, to really generate some money and all these types of things. But now, and I was in it like right when, Black folks really started to do it in 2016. That's when I started the podcast. And not that it's become oversaturated, but a lot of people have them now. So I just trying to, it's consistency, and knowing that it's still my own thing. Like, I can do, like, I have a partnership with Cerise. So not only is it the podcast, we have the brand, and we're redoing the website with Jessica at Creative Edge. So the new launch of the website is about to be so dumb ridiculous. But like, and then the partnership with Tracy, and then I plan on partnering with a Delta for the second quarter, and then a Zeta for the third quarter, and then a Sigma Gamma Rho. Like, just, I want to be able to have partnerships like that, because I'm all about helping other people and us helping each other and uplifting each other, and that's what Cool Store is all about, and doing a huge community initiative and all of those things. So it really has helped me with consistency, and knowing that when Tracy called today and she was like, this is what I'm sending you, and then Cerise D called right after our virtual event, she's like, I got a check for you for this. I was like, oh God, this is a real thing. This is multiple streams of income that people are talking about. And it's because I created this thing right here, and I can continue to, not recreating the wheel, partner with people that are already doing what you want to do. Take a little bit of percentage that they're giving you, because it's a percentage that you did not have before. Don't be like, I need this. No. I said, Tracy, tell me what you think I need. Cerise, tell me what you think I need, because guess what? It's an amount of money, because I'm not producing the product. I'm just adding my name to what they're already producing.
There you go. You just got to tap into it. You just got to tap into it. Why not? Absolutely. We have a question from Instawam7, who is my brother in beer. You know Instawam, he crazy. But he says, what does someone with no experience in the world of media, or how does someone with no experience in the world of media get into the medium? Good question. How do you break into it with no experience?
Man, listen, it's so many different ways into it, but now it's just not, I don't think the long goal should be radio or your regular commercial radio anymore. I mean, there's so many ways to do media, and he's already a great talent. He has a great personality.
He is. He's a great personality.
He has a great personality. He's great to be around. I mean, I just say that you continue to host things that he's doing now, continue to build your platform. Folks will find you, or you can create your own streams of income by what you do. Like, you no longer have to find or get permission from these big media companies. You just don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to get them to validate you. Ain't nobody validating you. You already dope. You already dope. So keep doing what you're doing. The folks will find you. The money will find you. The sponsorships will find you, because now you can host these lives and get money. Like, hey, I'm not, I know they gave us this beer or whatever, but like, when you continue to do this, if you continue to just flow and not expect for people to, validate you or try to tell you that you own, I'm telling you, things will just continue to fall in your lap. And you're a good person, sir. We love being around you when the world was open. And even when we do events now, like, keep flowing. Like, don't worry about trying to get the yes from somebody. Just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah.
I love that. Miss Naomi W. asks, how could one become a guest on your podcast?
Awesome. So the good thing about my podcast is that it is the Cool Store podcast, which we do focus on women in Black Greek letter organizations, and also fraternity members. But we do have cool people, which, I love that part, which I think I want to make a bigger platform, maybe a separate platform eventually. But yeah, you can just shoot me an email at cool@ cool@coolsoror.com. It's very easy. cool@coolsoror.com.
Awesome.
Ooh, somebody
Arnitra 3101 says, how do we get in contact with you if interested in being your assistant?
good. I have 2 requirements. Please be able to write well. Email communication with subject and verb agreement is a big deal to me.
How big of a deal?
It's the biggest.
Heard. Yeah.
The biggest, like,
yeah.
So just shoot me an email, and that's just me, because if you're representing for me, because like my last assistant, she was so absolutely amazing, but she's gone on to greater heights. That's what you want. You want your assistant to go on. Now she has her own assistant, has her own podcast. She's just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. That's why it's taken me so long to get one, because she was so good. She was so good that I don't. It's been hard to trust anybody. So the email is cool@coolsoror.com. Shoot me an email. And bother me until I answer.
There you go. This one is not a question, but just saying thank you for this live. Love to see sisters talking and spreading positivity.
Yes, Natasha Marshall. Yeah, she's an amazing designer. You know the costume I had on for Trinidad? Yes, she designed it.
She did that?
For my tribe. Absolutely amazing individual. I met her at Carnival when we were going on stage and all that. We took a picture together and everything. So yeah, she's fantastic. Thank you, Natasha. Love you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The Black Bear Experience asks, how do you determine what's your next move? What do you use as inspiration?
I continue to stand in gratitude. You know, when people ask me that over the last, few months, I almost get a little anxiety when people ask me that, because I don't always know the answer to that question. I've had a couple of auditions and hoping to hear something back soon. I didn't even tell you about them because I don't like to say it out loud until it happened. I'll be like, hey, you ain't gonna believe it, dog.
I know.
Yeah. So, but you can see me on the new season of Sisters, Tyler Perry Sisters on BET, which comes out October 14th. I'm on episode 208. I played one of the first lady. And so that experience at Tyler Perry Studios was absolutely amazing. He is genius, guys.
He is. So when you determine your next move, are you in a space of allowing? Is that what it's about? Kind of like, being a space of gratitude and allowing. Yeah.
But I also make sure that I don't do anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. If I look at it, like I had an offer for a 2-day conference, 10 to 4, but it was in person. But I knew that they weren't going to pay me what I deserve. I host a lot of virtual conferences and virtual things, and I make money for them.
Yeah.
And a lot of it. And that is what I do. My source of income has really been beautiful right here at this table with my computer, do my little makeup, put on my little dress and get it going. And if you're not going to compensate me for that, I'm not giving anyone a hookup on me hosting things, because that's what I do for a living.
Absolutely.
And because this world has gone virtual does not mean I'm going to lessen my value. I have an agent who negotiates that. Shout out to my agent, Bobby Height. He always makes sure, and he goes higher than I say, like, oh, you gonna ask for that much? He's like, yeah, we're gonna ask for that much. I'm like, okay. And he'd be like, look, I got the money. I'm like, oh, you kidding me? And it's great.
This question is kind of along the same lines from UCB. She asked, have you turned down any projects? And if so, what would be the determining factor? That was one of them, is not being valued, your talent not being valued. What would be one other determining factor that you would consider that could cause you to turn down a job? And this is our last question, guys, because we're running low on time. But
if it doesn't, I don't always say yes to things. Like yesterday, I was going to try to help a soror out, but I was actually about to go take a run, and I turned it down because everything wasn't set in place prior to, and it wasn't like a money-making situation, because I'm very big on helping sorors and do different things. But I turn down things all the time that don't make me feel good, or if I want to sit at home and have some wine with my friends, or if I want to be on the Zoom on our Friday night calls. I've turned down several events on a Friday night because I know that is about self-care. That is about
Right.
self-care.
Right.
And I have to literally fill myself up with those types of things. And I've said no. Money doesn't mean everything to me. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Chef
I mean, I
Gordon
like to
says,
make it, but
yeah,
it doesn't mean
it's
everything.
not everything. And Chef Gordon or
Mm-hmm.
Penelope says, saying no is dope. And it is.
Yes.
You have to. I
Yeah.
like that. That could be a t-shirt. Saying no is
It
dope.
could. It could.
It
Yeah.
really could be. It really could be.
Yeah.
Rashan, I thank you for being here. I can't believe you told me it was going to go
Oh,
fast.
I told
You
you.
told me you were like an hour, because I said I was going to do 20 minutes, guys. I'm
20
such an idiot.
minutes.
I'm such an idiot.
These
It's the
things are
way I wants
fun.
to know when we're coming out with another beer collaboration. We're going to work on something for sure. Drink
We
well with
do.
others. That was a
Yep.
fun collaboration that we did.
It
We
was.
collaborated on so many things in our lives. And this is just another one of those things. We,
Yeah.
beer, football, and friends may have a resurrection. That was our in-person
Yeah.
beer and football class that we used to host for ladies. I think a virtual platform could work for something like that. So
Oh, absolutely.
we'll have to talk about that. But I
Yeah.
wanted to thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me for my first ever episode of Beer, Biz, and BS.
Yes.
I want to thank Luis Martinez of My Abuela's Food for gifting us this beer for this episode by Second Self Beer Company, La Fria, this Caribbean lager. I want to remind people to subscribe. So you can tune in for free, of course, anytime. And subscribing is free too. But if you subscribe, you'll be entered to win a custom 6-pack at the end of the series. So it's 6 episodes, which means 1 beer per episode, which is a 6-pack.
Right.
That just kind of fell from the sky. So this is the first one in your custom 6-pack. And every beer that we have each week, I'll add it to the custom 6-pack. So the winner at the end, but you have to be a subscriber, will get that custom 6-pack as well as some Atlanta Beer Boutique merch, swag.
Right.
So you'll get that. And then the last thing is that next week we'll be talking with Brian Johnson. He is known as at BJ the Dreamer.
Yes.
I met Brian through Rashan. He was a board member on Sporty Girls Inc.'s board about a decade ago. And we'll be talking with him next Wednesday, October 7th, 6 p.m. And the name of that show, episode 2, is called Business Amplified. So that should be a good talk. Rashan, you had your hand up?
I did. I need you to make sure when you end this call that you save it to your IGTV. People are asking that. But when you end it, it's going to say save. You need to save, and you need to immediately do the title and the description. Do not let this fall. Don't let this be deleted. So you have to do it almost immediately.
I know that's right. That's right. People want me to tell them the beer prior to the next epi. My sister says she's down with ABB.
Well, you know me.
I think I might be able to do that. I'll try to do that. I really will. It's counting down the time, guys. I have 1 minute and 56, 55, 54, 53 remaining. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for joining me, Rashan, and for all 62 plus folks who've been on here. I appreciate you guys so, so much. Y'all take care.
Vote.
Go vote. Go have a good beer. Go chill for the rest of the evening. And I will see y'all next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. with BJ the Dreamer. I love you, best friend. And I love all of you. Best friend. That's how we greet each other when we see each other. And apparently when we leave. So I love you guys. Wait, so I just hit end and then do the saving.
And save. Like as soon as it says end this call, save.
Title it.
Title it and put the description. You can go back and do that, but it's going to take you a minute to save it.
Okay.
Plug your phone up immediately.
Plug my phone in, yes. All right, guys. Thank you so, so much, everybody. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all for Beer Biz and BS next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Bye.
Bye. Love you guys. Great job, best friend.
Mwah.
Mwah.